So I have a question for you guys. How many of you have some form of technology? Come on, let me see, show of hands. You got an iPhone, you got a smartphone. If you got a smartphone, it's definitely an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, it's probably a dumb phone. Sorry about that. But you got technology, you got a smartphone, laptop, computer, Xbox, all those things, right? How can't we all agree that technology is amazing, right? Like, I mean, look at this. Like, it's incredible. Technology is amazing. And what's so incredible about technology is it makes our life easier, right? It makes it fun. It makes it faster. It's just like when it's working and operating at the time and the time frame that it's supposed to work in and how it's created to work, it's amazing, right? It makes life great. But it's not so fun when it's not working, right? Like, come on, let's be honest. You've been in the middle of that game, you know, and you in that game right there, and then all of a sudden it just freezes and dies, and you're like, what happened? Are you kidding me? Or maybe you tried to send that text message to your parents because you was running late for curfew, and that thing's just spinning and it won't send, and you're like, oh, shoot, I'm in trouble. Like, y'all know it is the worst thing when technology is not working. It's great when it's working, but when it's not, it's frustrating. You know, I know this very well. This just happened to me about a month or so ago. I'm blessed to have the greatest phone on the planet, the iPhone XS. Come on, praise God, somebody. The latest and greatest, ain't nothing better. If you don't have an iPhone, we're going to have a special altar call at the end, and I'll pray for you, all right? All right, amen. But I got this phone, and I was just like, blown away. I was so excited. I was so pumped because not only was I excited about what the phone was, I was excited because I was at like an iPhone 5 or iPhone 6 before, so I got super upgrade. Let me upgrade you. Let's go, Beyonce. I got upgraded. And so I was so pumped, so excited. And once I started using it, man, I was like, whoa, this thing is incredible. It was fast. It was moving quick. The battery lasted forever. And it was almost like I could just think about the text message that I wanted to think. And it did it. It was incredible. But some of the other greatest features about this phone is this thing called Face ID, right? I love it. Because it helps me get into my phone, into the rhythm, into what I want to do quickly. I like to move quickly. I like to get into things. I don't even want to waste my time typing in numbers. I know it's a first world problem. It's all right. But I love my Face ID recognition on my phone. And there was one day, all of a sudden, my phone just started acting like it was on drugs. I was like, in Jesus' name, what's going on with you? It was acting weird. It was acting funny. The apps were not really working. My battery was getting drained. Like, my texts weren't working. Things weren't getting saved. And it just crossed the line. Like, it crossed the line when my Face ID didn't work. I said, this is the devil. This is clearly the devil. And so I was, like, frustrated. And so here's what I did. I did everything in my power on what to do to try to fix it. I didn't know how to do it. I was just so frustrated because it wasn't operating the way that it's designed to operate. Let me take a pause there for a moment. I know we want to talk about that God is a loving God, that God is a caring God, that God is a peaceful God, and he's all those things. But I also believe that sometimes when we're not operating how God has called us to operate in our purpose, he steps back with a little sadness and says, my child is not operating like, my child doesn't normally talk like that. My child doesn't normally hang out with those people. My child doesn't normally do that. So he steps back and he's like, you're not operating the way that you're designed to operate. You want to know why he knows it? Because Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know, this is God talking, I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. He knows all those things. So when we're not operating like that, I think possibly God steps back in disappointment that we're not operating the way that we were created to operate. So I was sad. I was like, man, this is, I wasn't sad. Actually, I was mad. I was really mad. I was like, I paid way too much too much money for this phone to not be working like this. And so I got fed up. I did everything that I could do. I turned the phone off and on. I let it die, and then I charged it up. I closed out all the apps. I did everything, because I know y'all smart, y'all tech, y'all like, why didn't you do all these things? I did, and they didn't work. I tried all of them, and it didn't work. I did everything in my power, but I couldn't get it to work. And so you want to know what I did? I went to the second greatest source in the world. The first is the Bible. Can I get a good amen for that? Greatest source on the planet. But second is Google. Can I get, and come on, don't act like y'all ain't use Google. Y'all don't, 38 squared plus 8 equals, you tried to find out what the answer is. You've used Google before. Google is the second greatest source, and so I'm hot. I type in probably the longest thing you can type in on Google. I'm like, why is your phone not doing this and that, and it's not recognizing my phone? Google's probably like, whoa, bro, you need to chill. And so I'm typing all this in, and watch what happened is it popped up. It sent me to the website of the creator, which is Apple. And the reason why it sent me there is because it knew that this was the only way that the problems that I was having would be fixed was if I went to the creator. Listen, let me calm down because I'm about ready to jump off the stage already. I want to encourage you tonight that some of the things, some of the issues that you're dealing with, some of the things that you're struggling with, some of the things that you're battling with, the only way that you're going to break out of that is until you go to the creator and say, God, fix me. God, change me. God, make me new. God, make me brand new. You've got to go to the creator. You got to go to the creator. And so I got there to the website and I was like, well, surely this is gonna be like the longest process ever. They're gonna tell, I got my popcorn ready, had my notebook. I said, they're gonna tell me everything I need to do is gonna take forever. And I get on there, it says, for the problems that you have, all you simply need to do is hit reset. I said, excuse me, what? It said, for all those problems, all you have to do is hit reset. And I was like, that's all I had to do was hit reset? And I know sometimes that we are struggling trying to do everything in our power. We're trying to fix all the issues that are going on in our life, and we're trying to do everything that we know in our knowledge under our power, but it's not until we look at God and say, God, I don't know how to do this. And so the creator said, it said to hit reset. I want to challenge you tonight. Here's my title with you tonight. It's time to hit reset. It's time to hit reset. Look at your neighbor and say, it's time to hit reset. It's time to hit reset. How do I know when it's time to hit reset? Well, my phone, what I was seeing, watch this, what I was seeing on my phone when it was making it to me, those were external problems, but the external problems were pointing to an internal problem. All the things, all the symptoms that was happening in my phone, all those things that were slowing it down, the problem was that it wasn't that it was my fault. I'm like, what in the world? All I had to do this whole time was hit reset. I want to encourage you tonight to hit reset. And let me tell you some symptoms of how you know it might be time for you to hit reset. Is maybe now all of a sudden you're getting angry all the time. Maybe you're struggling all of a sudden. You're like, why am I anxious? And I'm afraid of things all of a sudden all the time. External problem. Or maybe you are struggling, you've been struggling with the temptation, and all of a sudden you just continue to keep falling into it. You're like, what's happening? I was doing good earlier at the end of the year. What those were are external problems pointing to an internal problem. Oftentimes, external issues are pointing to that there's an internal issue. Oftentimes, what is showing on the outside is saying there's a problem on the inside, and I prayed to God and asked him what I was supposed to share in this time, and he took me back to January where we had an amazing night, Glow Night. Y'all remember that? It was off the chain. Pastor Ethan brought a fire word, said it's gonna be your year. It was incredible, and I loved it. And one of the greatest things I loved about that night was one of the things that he said. He said, this year will be your best year when it's the best year with your relationship with God. I loved it. I was like, yes, sir. And here's what I think we did. I think we said, Okay, let's go. I think y'all said, oh, girl, it's about to be my year. Let's go. I'm about to hit on, I'm about to flex on them. I'm about to show them how we make it work. It's my year. Let's go. And dabbed on them. I think that's what we did. Like, we were pumped. We were excited. And I mean, I could feel, me and Pastor Ethan, we could feel the spiritual climate go up in our students because I think y'all start walking into your schools bold. You start walking with your heads held high. You were getting into your word. You were worshiping God. You were getting in tribe. You were getting in small groups. You were doing everything that you felt you needed to do to keep that thing going. But then February rolled around and y'all were like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll keep praying a little bit. I'll keep doing that. March rolled around. Oh, yeah, I'll get to that eventually. And then April came, and it's like, oh, well, I'll take care of that at Easter. And then May came, and we're maybe not even having any intimate time with God by ourselves. And so, Lifepoint students, I'm here tonight to tell you it's time to get back to that place. It's time to hit reset and say, God, you are the center of my life. You are the center of everything. You are who makes me who I am. It is time to hit reset. Everybody say, it's time to hit reset. It's time to hit reset. I want to give you the Webster's dictionary definition of reset, and that is to set again, or to set or to reset to the original state. To reset back to the original state. And here's something you guys got to know, Lifepoint students, is this tool of knowing how to reset is one of the greatest assets that we have. It's one of the greatest things that we can do is say, God, make me over again, restore me, restart my heart. Now, let me tell you something. The only reason why we can do that, because there was a man named Jesus who came down, who lived a perfect, sinless life. He died on the cross, and he was raised from the grave, and he released this thing called grace. And then when he released this thing called grace, he says, yes, I know that you're going to mess up. Yes, I know that you're going to fall. I knew that when I took that pain in my side. I knew that when they plucked my beard out. I knew that when they whipped me 39 times. I knew that. And so that's why I came and died and said, because I know that someone in Lifepoint students is going to need to hit reset. I knew it. And so tonight we're going to learn how we can hit reset. I'm going to give you a few things that I learned when I did my phone reset. I'm gonna give you 3 things, but I wanna tell you about the story of the person that I wanna use and talk about tonight. And I love to preach about this guy named David. Have you guys ever heard about him before? He's an amazing character. I love preaching about David. You wanna know why I love preaching about David? Is because he's real. Like, he shows us high highs, and he shows us really low lows, and I love it. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but one of the last times I preached to you guys, I preached on David, and I talked about how he was young and how he was chosen, and then how he worked all the way up through the ranks, and then he slayed Goliath, right? Like, took out a giant. It was amazing, and you would feel like that story would end there, right? I'm sure David wished it did. Unfortunately, it didn't. This is the story that I want to get to tonight is David. Then he just continued, kept pursuing God. He was doing everything that God called him to do. He took over so much territory, and now this man they built a palace for him. He's in his kingdom. He's got his robes on. He's got his J's on, and he's got his bling. David was nice, y'all. And here's another reason why I like David, is it says he was dark and handsome. I mean, come on. Like, if you don't know that David is black by now, you should know. He's black. But so he's in this palace, and here's the story I want to tell you about. David wakes up from a long day one day. He gets up, puts on his robe. He's like, what a beautiful day it is. I'm the king. And he walks out on his deck, and he's like, looking at his territory. He's like, yeah, this is mine. This is great. God gave me up. Oh. And you want to know what he saw? He saw a girl. Every time, I'm telling you, every single time he saw a girl, and it just shook him up. He was like, I don't know what to do. This girl shook him up. And so, but here's the problem with this girl that he saw. Number one, she was married. Yeah. Listen, this is why y'all need to read the Bible. The Bible is good. She was married, and guess what? He was too. I know. He was too. And so, but watch this. He said, I know she's married, but I'm the king around here. And watch this. He went and sent for her. And he brought her to him. And watch, it gets worse, y'all. It gets worse. He liked this girl so much that then he had this girl's husband killed. Shook. Had her husband killed because he wanted her. And so then we pick up the story where there's this prophet of God. His name is Nathan. And just to give you clarity, a prophet is just someone who heard the voice of God clearly and would give speech and directions to kings so they knew where to go. So this guy, Nathan, he shows up to David's house. He goes, King, can I talk to you? And David's like, yeah, what's up, Nate? What's up, dog? How you doing, dog? What God got for me today? What's good? And Nathan says, yeah, get off me, bro. Let me tell you this real quick. Come here. So can I tell you a story real quick? David's like, you bet. Come on, let me hear this story. He goes, there's this rich man, right? I just heard this, like, I heard this coming here, and I want to tell you about this so you know how to handle it. But there's this rich guy, and he's got everything. He's got power. He's got everything that you need. He's got fame. He's got influence. And then there's this poor guy, and nobody really knows him. So if something happened to him, it'd be all right. But this rich guy sees this poor guy's wife, and he says, I want her. And he takes her, and then he has the man killed. And David goes, what? He goes, oh no, oh my mama, where's this dude at? He don't want to see me. Bring him here. I will take him out right now. He don't want to see me. He don't want it. And watch this. Watch what happens. Then Nathan says, hey, David, I'm talking about you, you fool. He says, you are that man. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel says. I anointed you king over Israel, and I delivered you from the hand of Saul. I gave you your master's house. I gave your master's wives into your arms. I gave you all of Israel and Judah. And if that had been too little, I would have given you even more. So why did you despise the word of the Lord by doing what is evil in his eyes? You struck down Uriah the Hittite with the sword and took his wife to be your own. You killed him with the sword of the Ammonites. Now, therefore, the sword will never depart from your house. Sounds like David was in trouble. The first thing I want to tell you about that you learn when you hit reset, the first thing that you learn is that it reveals some errors. It reveals some errors. When I hit my phone reset, what was cool about it was it actually showed me the errors that were causing the problem in the first place. And it said, this is what you need to fix. And we see this with this conversation between Nathan and David. Nathan comes up and he tells him, hey, dude, I know you're sorry. I know you didn't mean to do it. I know you kind of just let your actions get the best of you, but you have to be held accountable for your actions. And here's what he did. He basically just held up a mirror to David so he could see what he really looked like. I want to tell you tonight that maybe some of you, and either physically or spiritually, you need to go home and look in the mirror tonight and see what decisions it is that you are making that is causing the issues in your life. When he held up the mirror to say, hey, dude, there is a root issue. There's a deeper thing that is causing you to step away and separate yourself from God. And I need to show you that God will never allow you to hit reset without showing you the problems that are in your life. He'll never do that. So he held up the mirror and showed him. And here's, Can I be real with y'all for a moment? Can I be real with y'all for a moment? I think what happens with us sometimes is that we try to put the blame on the cards that we've been dealt in life. We try to put the blame on, I didn't have a dad. My parents separated. I'm getting bullied at school. I don't have a purpose. We try to put it on these things. And listen to me, those things are very valid. Hear my heart. Those things are very, very valid. But there's sometimes we have to take the blame for the issues that we've caused ourselves. You know, what I learned about this, Pastor Ethan, is that on my phone when I saw all the errors that were on there, most of them were user error. It wasn't because of the creator. It wasn't because of the manufacturer. It made it right. He made it perfect. The manufacturer made it how it was supposed to be. It was because of my choices. And I want to ask you tonight, what choices are you making that's pulling you away from the destiny that God has for you? He made a choice. David got himself into this situation. Stop blaming other people or your circumstances when you know it is your fault that you're in the situation. Like, we got to own up to it, and we got to check our own heart. Everybody say, check your heart. So it reveals errors. The second thing that happens when you hit reset is that you might lose some stuff. You might lose some stuff. Let's read this real quick. And so it says, it goes on in the story, and David talks about, God tells him what the consequences are that happens. It says, then David confessed to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. So he's starting that reset process. He's saying, God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I let my emotions get the best of me. I let my feelings get the best of me. I let what I wanted get the best of me. Lord, please restart this, reset my heart. He says, I've sinned against the Lord. And Nathan goes, yes, but the Lord has forgiven you. I want to take a pause, a moment right there. And we should thank God that no matter what we do, how much we mess up, how far we fall, what decisions we make, what we say to other people, that God still stands there and says, come into my house with open arms. You are forgiven. You are much loved. You are my son. You are my daughter. It doesn't matter what you do. Jesus forgives you. If you're thankful for that, why don't we give God 5 seconds of praise in this place? So he was forgiven. He was forgiven. He said, yes, you were forgiven, and you won't die for this sin. Nevertheless, because you have shown utter contempt for the word of the Lord, by doing this, your child will die. Whew, that hurts. And let me clean up some things real quick, because I know some of your first thoughts is like, God killed his son because he messed up? That's OG. Like, some of y'all are like, why in the world would God do that? Why would he kill his son? Why would he take his son away from him? Well, let me tell you this is before Jesus. And so before Jesus, there were some very hard consequences that we had to pay for our sins. But thank God for Jesus that we got to get atonement and grace and covering for everything that we do. Thank God. Y'all should thank God for Jesus. But I think we read that and we say, man, his child died. But what I felt like that God gave me a revelation of is he said, TJ, look at what child means. Child simply means a seed. And so what he was saying was that seed, the reason why I couldn't allow his child to live was because that seed was now contaminated. And that seed that was now contaminated, I cannot afford for it to continue to go out any further in the world. So he took away the seed. I want you to know tonight that some of the things that you've done in your life, that we've done, that I've done, I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Please hear my heart. But some of the things that we've done, we've caused it, and God has to take away something because he knows that the further that it goes, it's going to cause more and more problems down the road. And so even though he lost his son, watch this, it was better for him in the long run. You might lose some things when you come to God and say, God, I hear this word. I've fallen off. I've stopped praying. I've stopped coming to Tribe. I've stopped being connected. I've stopped worshiping you. I've stopped giving you everything. When you do that, it's going to be, I want to give you a caution that God may say you might lose some things. He may come to you and he may say, hey, that relationship that you're in, I need you to come out of that relationship. But we're getting married. It's what y'all think. It's what y'all say. Probably none of y'all getting married. Parents. He may say, I need you to come out of the relationship. But here's what we say. Listen. Here's what we say. We say, but God, we're not doing anything wrong. God is saying, I understand, but it's going to be better for you in the long run to let him go. He might ask you, you may be in 9th grade, and he might ask you to step away from the sport that you love because he wants to take you to the nations. Are you willing to allow God to take away that seed for something greater? Listen, it is going to hurt. It may hurt for a while. It may sting for a while. You may not enjoy it. You may not understand it. But on the other side, God's got something better for you. He's got something greater for you. He's got more in store if you will just only trust him. If you'll only trust him. So he took his seed away so it didn't cause any more damage into the world. And so we see that David was messed up by this, y'all. He was hurt. His wife was hurt. They couldn't believe that this would happen. But I got some good news for you. I know those first two aren't good. I know we don't like the mirror held up. I know some of y'all were squirming. I know y'all are like, why did I come? Because now I'm thinking about all the things that I've done wrong. I know that's fine. But if you trust God, if you go through all this whole process, my next point is in the reset, updates happen. I'm going to get a little bit excited right here. In the reset, updates happen. When I went into the reset function on my phone, and it showed me everything that I did, because I don't know how to work it, obviously. It showed me all those things. Guess what? I lost some stuff. I lost some data. I lost some pictures. I lost some voice memos. I lost some sermons. I lost a whole bunch of things, and I was upset about it. But it didn't stop there by fixing the problems. It enhanced my phone. It updated some things. And we see that with David is that he lost his son. And he lost his child. I don't want to call it son. I don't know what it was. But we lost his child. And it hurt for a while. It messed him up for a while. But then right after that, he had another son. And his son's name was Solomon. And let me tell you about Solomon. Solomon then went on to become king. Solomon then went on to be the first one to build a temple, a dwelling place for God. Solomon went on to write this book that we just preached a whole series on last month called Wise Up, called Proverbs. And now Solomon is viewed as the wisest person to ever walk the planet. David got an upgrade. He lost some things, but he got something better. He didn't understand it, but he got something better. I want to encourage you tonight, Lifepoint students, that God may ask you to step away from some things. God may ask you to open yourself up to some things that he wants you to do, and it may hurt. It may set you back. You may be like, God, I don't understand, but on the other side of it, he's got something better for you. He's got a new plan for you. He's going to make you into the best person that you've ever designed to be because he's upgrading you. He's updating you. He's taking you to the next level. Somebody should give God a shout of praise and thankful that he upgrades you. He upgrades you. He doesn't let you just stay at one place. And let me encourage you tonight, students. Don't ever be okay with staying in the same place. We should not be okay with being complacent. We should not be okay. Pastor said this a few weeks ago, and it just hit me in the teeth. He said, 3 months from now, we should be different than we were 3 months ago. Like we should know more. We should have more relationship. We should be striving after God more because of the plans that he has for you. So it's going to reveal some errors. You're going to lose some stuff. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I feel like God's wanting me to talk on that part is don't be afraid to let go of what God is telling you to let go of. I'm living proof of this. If I could tell you more of my story, if I had time, I would. But I've lived open-handed and freely. But watch this. Somebody gave me this analogy, is that if you live with a closed hand, it hurts more when God has to open it, because guess what? He's going to open it. He's going to take that thing if he needs to. He's going to do it all. And so you might as well just live and say, God, here it is. It's not mine. And you know where we can start with is your life. Can I tell you, Lifepoint students, I know we get caught up in everything that's going on in the world, but your life is not your own. Your life belongs to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and that his name is Jesus Christ. So live open-handedly. So it reveals some errors. You will definitely lose some things. I'm a living witness of it. But you'll get some updates, and that's exciting. I know y'all probably would like for me to stop there, but I got a little bit of a sub point. The Lord wrecked me the other day. I called Pastor Ethan. I said, the Lord just changed the ending of my message, because I was going to end there. We get some updates. Come on, shout glory. Thank you, Jesus. That's where I wanted to end. But God said, you got to be real with them. You got to be honest and let them know this is my sub point. Is I know I'm telling you to hit reset, but guess what? It's not going to be easy. It's not something that you can just do right away or at a flip of a dime. It's not something that you can just get to and just flip a switch and say, oh, I got it, God. It's not easy. I think I got an example up here for me. If you guys would throw that up for me, I want to give you a living proof of how hitting reset is not easy. So you guys, y'all probably don't know anything about this. But this is like the back of a computer, or honestly, you can find this on the back of your Wi-Fi modem or anything like that. And you see that little circle there, right? That is not the button. The button is through that hole. And so you see this arrow right here pointing, and guess what it says right next to it? That's the reset button. I'm here to tell you that it's not going to be easy, and the only way you can hit reset like that is that you need a special tool. The only way you can hit reset is that you need a special tool to hit reset. And so I want to tell you guys tonight, I've got that tool for you. Do you want it? I said, I've got that tool for you. Do you want it? That special tool is this right here. That was cute. I knew that was going to happen. Pastor Ethan, they were like, oh, praise Jesus, the Bible. I knew that would happen because, can I be honest with you? That's how us as Americans think about the Bible. I have been to other countries that they have died for this. They know that this is the source of their life. And we have it at the touch of our fingers and won't even open it up and say, God, speak to me. But this is the special tool that you need to hit reset. How do I know that? Because everything in this book, there's so much stories in this book. This book tells you how to live. This book tells you how to love. This book tells you how to be a son, how to be a daughter. This book tells you how to honor authority. This book tells you how to follow Jesus. This book is more than just a book. It's a special tool that can absolutely, radically, ridiculously change your life. This is your tool. This is your tool. There's one more thing in this. Y'all can go ahead and start playing because I feel more spiritual when music is playing. Oh, there it is. Y'all feel that? Not only does this tell you how to live, but I'm going to tell you one more secret while I'm telling you this is the secret tool. Because there's a lot of stories in here. There's a lot of scenarios. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of stuff in here. But let me let you in on a little secret. Every single story, every single character, every single drama, everything that is written in this book is talking about one. Everything from Genesis all the way to Revelation is talking about one who is greater, who has come, who has lived, who has died. Every single book, if you don't know who I'm talking about yet, every single story in this book is talking about the man that we call Jesus the Christ. Everything points to him. And why am I saying this? Is because the reason why this is so important is because it points to Jesus. And it's not the words on this page. It's not the stories in this book. It's not the drama that happens. It is the man of God that's in this Bible that it points to, that says this is how you hit reset in your life. This is how you shift some things in your life. This is how he is the tool that can touch your heart and make you new. He is the tool that can help you learn how to forgive. He is the tool that can break darkness off of your life. He is the tool that is the thing that can break chains, addictions, generational curses. He is the tool that you need in your life. If you are thankful for Jesus, let me hear you give him a shout.